I'm about to show you 8 viral YouTube Shorts niches that can make you rich. From channels that you can literally start printing with right now to a 7-figure channel idea that could change your life. And I'll be ranking them on this ladder. The higher we go, the more profitable the niches become. The catch is that the niches get harder and harder to pull off. So not only will I be giving you the exact roadmap and details to make this work, but at the very top of the ladder, I'll be showing you what I believe is the best YouTube Shorts niche with insane potential for any of you watching to make a generational amount of money. That might sound like I'm overselling, but I am genuinely serious. Now, I know when I tell you this first niche, a lot of you are going to spam hundreds of nerd emojis because you've heard it 1,000 times before. And you might even say it's oversaturated. But hear me out. This niche is quite literally the foundation of everything related to YouTube Shorts. And the only thing you need to get started with it is this. That is commentary. Seriously. Not only is it simple, but I'll teach you quite literally every skill it takes to dominate with it. Script writing, editing, finding your ideas, and the money isn't even that bad either. I run channels like these pretty consistently, as you've seen Varusi, Slam Dunk, and so many others, and I've made thousands of dollars a week doing it publicly for you all to see. So you know this isn't just an actual niche that works and delivers thousands of dollars in results to pretty much everybody who puts the effort in. But here's what most people don't realize. There are sub-niches popping up constantly, so there's nothing stopping you from cutting down your competition by making videos on animals or football. There are millions of people interested in millions of different things. That means you can take the fundamentals of what this commentary niche actually is, apply it to an area that you might have more experience than other people in, and boom, you now have your edge. And you can make videos on things that you're actually interested in, whilst getting paid thousands of dollars a month at the same time. But I'm going to be 100% honest. This isn't the highest potential niche that there is on the platform right now. Sure, you can get a few breakout videos, make $5,000 to $10,000 a month, but if you're watching this, you want to hit beyond that and actually scale this into a business that can genuinely set you up. So that's why this is just the first one. The real money is made further up the ladder, like right here on the second step of the ladder, which is what I like to call the brain rot niche. This is actually super underrated because whilst everybody is grinding 10 hours a day to produce these videos for their channel, you can knock out something like this in just 20 minutes. All you do is take the audio of viral videos, add clips and brain rot background footage in the edits, throw on some captions, add some simple emojis on top, and there you have it. These are videos that you can produce 1 to 5 times a day, and you could harry these out for like $2 a pop. Listen, I'm not proud of the labor cost, but it works. And it gets you videos out consistently that lets you get paid without having to put in all that time yourself. Then you can even use YouTube's remix feature to push this out to the audience that was watching that original audio in the first place. You're not actually creating anything original or groundbreaking. If anything, it's quite the opposite, but it works. And channels like this have gotten over 400 million views for quite literally doing nothing. Even with a horrible RPM of like 10 cents per 1,000 views, that is still like $40,000. And most people who work a 9-to-5 job make that in a year. It is risky though, because YouTube might decide to ban channels like this to just steal people's audios, and the original creators are completely within their rights to actually ask you to take these videos down. But at the end of the day, you're never actually going to be putting your full attention into videos like this. So my advice is to start one of these channels on the side and use that money to reinvest into something more long-term down the line. What you really want to be doing though is something that I'm actually going to be displaying on step 3. Smart creators do not create trends, they ride them. And this next niche quite literally lets you surf every viral wave without actually having to come up with anything yourself. This strategy is simple. All you'll actually be doing is clipping streamers. Just find someone massive that you like watching. Clip their best moments as they actively happen. The best way that's going to give you a competitive edge is by actually watching their streams, getting in the moments before anybody else has a chance to create them, and then posting those videos on YouTube Shorts. Then boom, you're literally tied to their success. Channels like this have built massive followings by just grabbing the most popular parts of these creators' moments. And it's kind of perfect because a streamer has already built an audience and they're already established. What you're doing by taking these videos is essentially siphoning that same audience that's already created onto your channel. These people who are fans want more of the people that they watch. And so if you provide that to them, you can essentially take that audience, make money off it, and continue to help blow up the streamer. And since you'd be targeting more English-speaking streamers, the RPM that you'd be getting is just as good as any of the other niches, because YouTube pays you for older and more English-speaking viewers, which is exactly what you hit here, except for the fact that most of your audience might be teenagers. The issue is that your channel lives and dies with the creator that you choose. If he falls off, so do you, and there's pretty much nothing you can do to control that. You can try to center your channel around multiple creators, so that if one falls down, you just ride to the other one, and then add more as more people blow up. But you're not actually building a brand, you're just riding a wave. And try even getting a sponsorship like this. It's never going to happen.
and the only money you'll ever make is by relying on YouTube and yourself to find new creators to consistently click. This can also be super exhausting as you have to constantly be on the ball, making sure that you're hitting every new trend that happens, every new clip that comes on these streams, and you have to keep your finger on the pulse at all times. It is basically a full-time job, but hey, if you want to get paid for watching streamers, it's probably the best way to do it. As you can tell, these niches are starting to get more and more serious. They require a little bit more work as I go through them, but if you execute them right, can make you a ton
of cash. But don't worry, because the method I tease at the end doesn't require any of these skills and can make you more money than most of these niches combined. But for now, we're starting to get into the psychology of virality. This niche doesn't just entertain, it makes people actually feel something. Remember, it is real people watching these videos, as much as it doesn't feel like it sometimes. So if you can actually trigger their emotions and get them to stay until the end, you've won the war against everybody else trying to compete and create content against you. And in my opinion, one of the best ways to do this is with wholesome content. You know, the type of videos your mum sends to her Facebook group chat with her other friends. Those cute little dogs, those fat penguins, or those little chubby Chinese kids. People don't just watch this type of content. They share, like it, send it to their friends, and pretty much populate it around every platform that they can find. Plus, this content is sponsor-friendly as hell. It's super clean, does not have any controversial aspects to it, because you're just spreading kindness and joy, which is what these advertisers actually want in order to spend a lot of money on your videos. Doing this can be tough though. You need to understand pacing, visual storytelling, and how to trigger people's emotions as well as possible. And finding clips on stories that haven't just been done to death is super hard, because everyone's pretty much already found everything. You can't just manufacture these fake clips. They need to be authentic because that's the whole point. That's why if you do this, you have to commit. It might get tricky, but that's why the numbers I'm talking about here are almost life-changing. Now, I say almost because the real generational wealth could start here. Now, do you want to see what a 10 million view video looks like? Channels like these are pulling insane numbers. We're talking 10, 20, sometimes even 50 million views on a single video. The concept is pretty simple as well. It's just movie edits. You take a sick moment from a film, add a trending song to the back of the edit to actually capture an audience that's going to care about it right now. And if you end up learning how to do this properly, you can make some pretty creatively rewarding stuff whilst also generating a ton of money from just YouTube alone. There's also a huge audience base for this at the moment. Some people will genuinely watch these clips over and over and over again if they like the edit that much. So as long as you learn how to edit and know what clips are going to do well, you've got a great launchpad for opportunities to make your videos go viral. But here's the catch. The RPM isn't the best because there isn't necessarily English narration on the back of these videos. There's also a risk of you getting flagged by copyright. But one thing I found recently is that a lot of these movie studios actually want to push their content out much more. There was actually this edit that went viral on TikTok that some of you might have seen called the Creed edit. Essentially, it got like 200 million views because a guy slapped a really cool song and edit behind a clip in the movie Creed. So maybe just a few months ago, this method would have gotten you copyrighted pretty often. But now that these studios are seeing that social media can make them so much money, I think you could actually be safe for a very long time. So this can 100% work, but let me tell you, it is going to be extremely stressful. Look at this picture of my friend who runs a movie channel. I'd say he looks pretty stressed. Now, the next niche I'm about to show you is breaking records pretty much daily, but that's only if you can bear it. This content is absolutely exploding right now and has one of the biggest audiences in the world, but most creators are totally ignoring it. Well, what is it? Well, it's Roblox. Hell no, man. What the man? Channels like these are making a disgusting amount of money, and there's still room for people like you and I to jump in. The reason for this is because right now, the only people that seem to want to make Roblox content are 8-year-olds. I mean, obviously, there's some 20-year-olds out there taking advantage of this opportunity, but not everyone's cracked into it yet. Now, you can make a ton of money doing this, but again, like I said, at the end of the day, you are making Roblox videos. You need to understand the culture, the trends, the language, which essentially means you have to completely dive yourself into this world of Roblox in order to really hit the top. It's essentially having to know everything inside of an 8-year-old's head, which as a job description doesn't sound like the funnest thing to do ever. There's actually a student in my program who did start Roblox channels and was making over $5,000 a week, and she was loving every second of it. So I might be completely wrong when I say this, but there's a very high reward, but also an extremely high chance of you wanting to not turn on your PC ever again. If I started a Roblox Shorts channel today, I'd probably have like 5 gold-plated G-Wagons for my kids in the next 30 years. But I'm not taking advantage of the opportunity, unfortunately, because of this next niche that I'm about to go over. This is where boys turn into men in the YouTube Shorts game. Well, it's actually not that serious because we are just talking about YouTube Shorts. But this is something that you need to take advantage of. This niche is called motivation. A lot of channels you see online like Peaks and Bolt Motivation are taking major advantage of this.
The RPMs on here are above 30 cents per 1,000 views. And I even did an interview with Bolt, who runs one of the biggest channels on YouTube Shorts right now in this niche. And he talked to me about how he hit over $100,000 months and averages over 50. What do you think the most you've ever made in a month posting YouTube Shorts has been? 100K. Damn. And without sponsorships, let's say just pure AdSense from YouTube, what do you think the best month has been? A little over 50K. That's sick, bro. Congrats. It doesn't just stop there either, because he's also being paid by big studios like Marvel to make edits for them in a motivational style. This shows you that this niche does have the potential to go way past YouTube Shorts. Making money with AdSense here is just a start. But as you start making better videos, the motivation gets better and you start hitting audiences of older people. This automatically, one, makes the advertisers want to pay you more, but this also gets the attention of big companies who want to pay you for the same type of work. These videos are also extremely evergreen, which means you post one today and it can make you money for 5 months. I know this is a fact because in my interview with Bolt, he actually told me that if he were to stop posting for like 4 to 5 months,
would still be making like $300 to $400 a day off his channel. Bro, YouTube, your videos are constantly getting views. So imagine like, bro, if I start posting, all my past videos would still be making me hundreds of dollars a day for, the next year. Like it's actually crazy, which essentially means that one video isn't just going to be paying you for right now. It could potentially pay you for life. And that's if you have a list of over 300 to 400 videos that are on your channel all at once, collecting views from thousands of different people every single second. The more content you put out there, the more seeds you're essentially planting to get you paid for as long as physically possible. We just got a 10K deposit on content rewards while Daniel was filming. Refresh, 10K deposit. But to be honest, this should be saying like $100,000 to $200,000 a day minimum by the end of the year. So this honestly does not even excite me a little bit if I'm going to give it a buck with you. But you know what this does show me? This shows me that we're getting fed, buddy, and we're not going to run out of food. You've been running out of food. So the best part about this niche as well is that there isn't competition, because people aren't able to actually make these good motivational edits. And so it is definitely a skill gap that you can put the time in to learn. And if you do, there's really only 3 or 4 big competitors out there for you to fight against. But there's enough market share for all of you to get hundreds of millions of views a month, which means that even if you're not the best at doing it, you can still create a solid income for yourself that makes you over $10,000 every single 28 days. And you know what that means? You can rent a car like this for probably 2 weeks. This isn't my car. It is rented. But believe it or not, renting a car like this is not the final reward, because what I'm about to go into next is genuinely the top of the ladder. This is where 40K months actually become normal and you could pretty much automate yourself into a mansion. Channels like Zach D Films and Movie Troll aren't just successful. They're printing money on autopilot, which is ultimately the most scalable way to run YouTube Shorts. The idea is to invest early in top quality animators and editors and push out interesting, high-retention videos with your own spin to it. Cover crazy topics and actually hook viewers in with controversy like I did with Simply How. Our third video on the channel got over 30 million views, and all I said is, why do Asians have small eyes? We took a scientific approach to these videos, and in the intro we actually got a 3D model of Kim Jong-un, pulled the eyes out of him, and then pretty much analyzed it for the following 30 seconds. On the outside, the concept seems pretty simple, but if you dive deep a couple more layers into it, what I did was took the most controversial Asian person that I could physically find to match the topic of my video. I did really good, smooth 60 frames per second animations, and the fact that he was controversial didn't hurt either, because unlike Zach Films, who takes a much more PG-13 approach, I knew that I couldn't compete with that. So what I did is added an edge, which was the controversial aspect, which pretty much granted me that 30 million views, or more like $5,000 for a 30-second animated video that costed me $150. The content is also evergreen too. I haven't posted on Simply How in over a year, and it is still making a couple $1,000s a month with its insane RPM. The obvious drawback of this niche, though, is the upfront investment, as well as the troubles that can come with hiring and managing a team. So even if you need a little bit more practice, you have 7 more ideas below this one that you can get started with today in order to make your first few $2,000 a month on YouTube Shorts. But what I haven't told you is I have one more idea ahead that I believe is the easiest, cheapest, and most consistent way to consistently make over $10,000 a month without having to know everything about creating storytelling animation, learning how to hook a viewer emotionally, or any of the other things I've mentioned in these other niches previously. In my opinion, this is the easiest niche out there, and it is CTA commentary. You simply take the commentary angle that I told you about in step 1. You add strategic call to actions throughout the video. Not at the end, not in the description, but in the actual middle of the video. This is what I like to call commentary on crack, because this can make you over $20, $30, even $50,000 a month whilst taking the easiest way to make YouTube Shorts, and that's commentary channels.
I ran a channel like this called Verusi. The goal was to get it to 200,000 subscribers so that I could buy a $200,000 car. I posted this video for everybody to see. You can watch it right here. But I essentially hit my target in under 2 weeks. Our third video got over 5 million views, we had other videos with over 9 million views, and we made $3,000 in our first week. I personally didn't even expect it to blow up this fast, but after experiencing a channel like that, which I'd honestly never seen before for the amount of work that I had to put in, which was basically zero, I'm now confident that I think this is one of the easiest ways to scale 5 or 10 of these channels to even 60, 70K a month. Most channels that do this as well are integrating the CTA horribly. If you go to one of my Verusi videos as an example, what I did is waited for the most engaging part to the story, and right before it happened and right before the payoff was given to the viewers, we'd cut to a new scene that essentially said, like if you love pizza, subscribe if you love your mum, and do all of them if you want something else. We didn't need to innovate like crazy. All we did was visually show our CTA extremely clearly with really colorful text, pop-ups, and animations, and you can quite literally do this with your phone. You can make captions super easily using Creo, and we actually have a template that we made after posting that video to do it exactly like this. But regardless of any of that, I am very confident that this is one of the best niches to get into right now. You never know, it might die off soon because a lot of niches on YouTube are extremely cyclical. They go up one month, they go down the next, and then they peak again. But this is a great niche to have in your arsenal at all times because they're super easy to make. You can pay an editor $1 per video to do it, which is what I did, and then at the same time be making over $3,000 to $10,000 a week if you really want to take this seriously across multiple channels. Then you can take the revenue that you make from these really easy channels to go ahead and launch these 3D animation brands, which are actually going to get you paid by sponsorships, product lines, you name it. Whatever you
decide to choose, I've laid out the path to success for you on everything that I believe works with YouTube Shorts. And everything I've talked about in this video, I've actually done myself with proof online. You have all the information, and now the work is entirely up to you.